Hello all, this is Quick Excel again, and I'm hopefully going to show you a few things that'll save you some time by allowing you to use your keyboard more and not having to grab for that mouse as much. Alright, let's get right into it. So the first thing is actually not an Excel thing, this is a Windows thing. If you hold Alt down at the bottom left of the keyboard and you click Tab, you can switch between your applications very easily, and that'll save you time from, again, having to go to the mouse, minimize this, open that, things like that. And then the next thing, when you're in Excel, there's a lot of keyboard shortcuts that'll save you a bunch of time. Let's say you're working with this thing of data here. If you just hit Control A, you can select this whole range of cells, or if you're in here, if you hit Select A, it'll select that block of cells as well. So that'll help you select a whole area that you're working with fairly quickly. If you have to do a more targeted approach to selecting cells, you can do, if you hold Control and you go down, it'll go down to the bottom of the range that has anything in it, or Control up, it'll go back up. Now if you also hold Control and Shift, it'll select that whole range of values. The only caveat is, if you see we have an empty cell here, if I do Control Shift down, it'll only go to that break right there where we have an empty cell. If we do it again, it'll skip over to the first cell that has a value again, and then if you hit it again, it'll go down to the bottom. You can also do this to the left and the right. So if I go Control Shift and go to the right, it'll select all the cells with values over to the right. And I can actually combine that with Control Shift down now and select that whole value just like we did with Control A. And also, if you're in a column or row, if you just go ahead and select Control Space, it'll select that column, or if you have multiple columns selected, if you Control Space, it'll select all the columns that you have selected. Similarly with rows, if you do Control or Shift Space, that'll select the whole rows that you are currently on. And then some of the shortcuts that I'm used most frequently, if you select some cells, Control C will copy those cells, and then if you do Control V, it'll paste those cells. That's a lot quicker than what some people will do, is either right click and do copy, or come up here and hit copy and then do similarly paste. So that saves you a lot of time. And there's also Control X. The difference between the copy and the cut is when you cut and paste it, it will remove wherever you cut it from and just leave it where you pasted. Whereas if you copy, it'll leave in place what you copied. And then some of the other things, so if you do something wrong and you want to go back, instead of coming up and clicking this undo button, you can just hit Control Z. So if I delete something that I wasn't supposed to, I can just hit Control Z and it'll pop back up. And then another thing is Control F. It's very helpful for the find, and also you can go to replace, or if you want to go directly to replace, you can do Control H. Control S will save your workbook, and then Control 1 will pull up the formatting menu. So you can do any sort of formatting that you want. So those are the ones that I use most frequently. You can see them all kind of right here. Go ahead and take a screenshot or whatever of that. Also, you can obviously look online. There's a lot more than just these list of keyboard shortcuts, but these are the ones that I use most frequently. And then another shortcut that I use a lot is this Format Painter. So if you have any sort of formatting that's sort of complex and you don't want to do over and over again. Let's see, let's go to these cell styles like this. See, this might take a little bit of work to replicate that in other cells. So if I just use this, hit the format painter, and then go here, it will paste the format into the new cells. So I use that a lot just to be consistent with all of my Excel, and it saves me a lot of time. So those are my quick tips for being faster at Excel and saving yourself some time. All right, thank you.